Hailing from Moraband, the ancient homeworld of the Sith, Darth Bane was a legendary Dark Lord of the Sith who lived during the Dark Age of the Old Republic, 1,000 years before the Clone Wars. The Sith Order in his time was nearly equal in number with the Jedi Order. At the height of their power, the Sith's dominion had spread across the galaxy. However, the Sith were often fueled by their own individual lusts for power, with squabbling Sith turning against their own. While serving in the Sith Empire, known as the Brotherhood of Darkness, Bane realized that infighting and greed from other dark side warriors created a weakness. The infighting eventually led to the defeat of their order at the mid-rim planet Ruusan in 1032 BBY, as the Jedi were able to all but destroy the weakened Sith. Bane was the sole survivor of the Jedi-Sith War, as he organized the eradication of all the other Sith. Recognizing that the old Sith traditions were a dead end, Bane created a new Sith philosophy that succeeded the older doctrine of the Dyad in the Force, a rare and powerful force bond that existed between two individuals. Instead of building a new army of Sith Lords, Bane's rule of two mandated that there could be only two Sith at a given time, a Sith Master to embody power and a Sith apprentice to crave it. Only by slaying their master could the Sith apprentice gain that title and take on their own apprentice, or they could die in the attempt, proving themselves unworthy of the Sith legacy and be replaced. Those Sith would favor the shady tactics of trickery and scheming to destroy their enemies rather than outright force. The goal of Bane's decree, and the new hierarchy that it created, was to ensure the survival of the Sith Order. The Rule of Two recognized the ambition for power inherent in Sith philosophy and utilized it as a mechanism of succession from one Sith Master to the next. The Rule of Two, therefore, encouraged Sith apprentices to take the power that they had been trained to covet by supplanting their masters, who were obliged to anticipate signs of betrayal while educating their apprentices through agonizing lessons. The Rule of Two's establishment coincided with the creation of a plot known as the Grand Plan for the Sith to corrupt the Galactic Republic from within, diminish and disgrace the Jedi Order, and eventually rise and conquer the galaxy. The Sith would soften up their enemies before zeroing them in for total subjugation. Believing that the new principle would prevent the power of the dark side from destroying the Sith Order, Bane took on an apprentice of his own, Darth Zana, and began passing on his knowledge. The Jedi learned of Bane's new philosophy and falsely believed that they had destroyed the Sith forever with Bane's defeat, which marked the dawn of a long-lasting era of peace under the rule of a reformed Galactic Republic. However, Bane's plans continued through his apprentice, who slew the Sith Master in order to claim his place. Although historical records were not accurate about the identity of Bane's apprentice or how Bane died, it was rumored that Bane was killed by Zana in a duel, a pattern that nearly all Sith repeated afterward, which took place on the inner rim planet of Ambria. After Bane's death, his remains were placed in a sarcophagus adorned with runic inscriptions in the Ur-Kitat language in the Valley of the Dark Lords on Moraband, which was said to be haunted by a fiery spectral image of the late Dark Lord. Additionally, a colossal statue of Bane in his armor was erected at the far end of his massive burial chamber. Bane was the last Sith Lord to be buried on Moraband. One of the most infamous of the Sith Lords, Darth Bane was considered the founder of the modern Sith, who continued their quest for revenge, working in secret as they plotted their return to galactic dominance. Those plans continued through Darth Sidious, publicly known as Supreme Chancellor Sheev Palpatine, who engineered the Clone Wars to gain more power over the Galactic Republic. He also manipulated the war fought between the Republic and the Separatist Alliance to make the Jedi compromise their ideals as they served as leaders in the Grand Army of the Republic. Doing so would allow him to justify his eventual destruction of the Jedi Order. Sidious also had a personal protocol droid named 114D that he inherited from his Sith master, Darth Plagueis, and the droid's memory bank retained information on the former strongholds of the ancient Sith Lords, such as Darth Bane's tomb on Moraband. During the war in 19 BBI, Jedi Grandmaster Yoda ventured to Moraband on a journey to discover the secrets of immortality. He entered Bane's tomb and encountered a fiery vision of the ancient Dark Lord. As part of Yoda's trial to learn the power of immortality, the apparition attempted to convince the Jedi Master to turn to the dark side. Yoda refused, remarking that Bane was dead and that what appeared before him was simply an illusion that had nothing to offer. Yoda's defiance banished the screaming spectre back into the sarcophagus, while Yoda continued on his journey. The Jedi Master's travel to Moraband was eventually mentioned in a set of hand-drawn maps that were believed to be created by the Ithorian artist Gamit Chond, along with an illustration of Darth Bane's fiery spectre. The maps were later restored and collected in the Graph Archive on the moon Orcus, to at some point no earlier than 34 ABY. The war's end in 19 BBY, 1,000 years after Bane's death, saw the culmination of the Sith's millennium-long vendetta against the Jedi. Sidious declared himself Emperor and reformed the Republic into the Galactic Empire. To destroy the Jedi, he issued Order 66, a command implanted in the clone troopers of the Grand Army of the Republic to execute the Jedi as traitors. In addition, Sidious seduced to the dark side Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, believed by the Jedi to be the chosen one of prophecy who would bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith. Skywalker adopted the Sith mantle of Darth Vader, and the grand plan that Darth Bane had put in motion 1,000 years ago had thus been fulfilled by Sidious, who was recognized thenceforth as the greatest Sith Lord after Bane. Between 3-4 ABI, Luke Skywalker, a Jedi trainee and Vader's distant son, traveled to the planet Gazian in hopes of learning more in the ways of the Jedi. When he reached a vergence in the Force known as the Living Sea, Skywalker encountered a duplicate consciousness of a Jedi of the High Republic era, an imprint of Jedi Master Elzar Mann's mind. Witnessing the Republic and the Jedi Order at their zenith, Mann described the Jedi in his time as living their golden age, approximately 800 years after they ended the rule of Darth Bane. Skywalker, who was already concerned about his lack of knowledge about the Force and the Jedi, interrupted Mann after the latter mentioned Bane, and complained about his struggle to move forward in his life without proper guidance. Despite achieving their goal of galactic conquest, the Sith victory proved short-lived, as the Emperor's reign ended within a generation after his rise to power. During the Battle of Endor in 4 ABY, Vader sacrificed his life to save his son, Luke, killing the Emperor and dying as the last Sith Lord in the lineage of Darth Bane. The destiny of the Chosen One was fulfilled, and Anakin Skywalker became one with the Force. With the Sith rule at an end, understanding Bane's tactics and rationale was seen as crucial for the Jedi to rebuild their order and to prevent the Sith's rise to power once again. Unbeknownst to the galaxy, however, Sidious was resurrected by transferring his essence through the Force to an imperfect cloned body. He secretly created a Force-sensitive genetic strandcast that came to be known as Supreme Leader Snoke to rule the First Order, a military regime succeeding Sidious's empire as proxy. Sometime later, Luke Skywalker, the last Jedi in existence, included a mention of Bane and the Rule of Two in a book in which he chronicled the history of the Jedi Order, titled The Secrets of the Jedi. Sidious likewise mentioned Bane while chronicling Sith history in his book, The Secrets of the Sith. He acknowledged Bane as a great Sith Lord who survived the purge of the ancient Sith and ensured their order's revival through the rule of two. Additionally, Sidious credited Bane as the founder of a lineage of Sith Lords that culminated in his own rise to power. 3 decades after the Battle of Endor, Kylo Ren, leader of the Knights of Ren and grandson of Darth Vader, betrayed and killed Snoke, who had trained Ren in the ways of the dark side. Ren then usurped his late master's title and took control of the First Order in an act of ascension worthy of Darth Bane's rule of two. 1 year later, the resurrected Sidious made a failed attempt to restore the Sith Order to its former glory, which led to his final defeat when his granddaughter Rey used the power of the Jedi that came before her, ultimately leading to Sidious, the Sith, and Bane's long-lasting vendetta to be destroyed for good.